Hi, everybody. My name is Gina, and today you are going to be listening to Diversity in Dietetics. This is going to be a podcast where we talk about nutrition, we'll speak about culture, and the importance of equity in healthcare. Today's episode, we're really going to focus on the underrepresented group in the field of dietetics, which is Black dietitians, and why increasing diversity in this profession is so important. So if you're a dietitian or if you're anybody that's interested in improving patient care, continue to listen, please. So like I mentioned, today we're going to speak about the underrepresented group of dietitians, specifically Black dietitians. And currently they make up only 3% of registered dietitian nutritionists in the United States, which is extremely low. And this is concerning for several reasons. So first, the population we serve is incredibly diverse. So we need a workforce that is going to reflect this diversity. Second, having more diverse registered dietitians can improve patient care, increase comfortability, and build trust between patients and providers. And when patients are going to feel understood, they're more likely to follow these recommendations, stay engaged, and have better outcomes revolving their health. So a couple of things that we really need to think about are the barriers that are leading to this lack of representation. So the first being the high cost of education and unpaid internships. And with this, again, specifically those in underrepresented communities may come from low income communities. So we need to make sure that we have access to this education internship regardless of where you live and your financial situation. Another being limited access to mentorship and representation, systemic inequalities in healthcare and education, and then a lack of cultural diversity in nutrition curriculum. So not just sharing recommendations for a primarily white community and what we may enjoy. However, let's talk more about culture and let's make sure that we're speaking on each community's different food systems and what foods they enjoy and what their traditions are like. Another major issue is cultural disconnect in nutrition counseling, kind of like I was speaking about previously. So as dietitians, we often recommend these foods, grocery options, or meal plans that might not be accessible or even relevant to certain communities. So we want to make sure that we're not recommending expensive or hard to find health foods, not considering what's actually available in local grocery stores, and not overlooking these traditional or cultural foods. So again, this is where representation matters because Black dietitians might be able to better relate to cultural food practices, meet realistic and accessible options, and meet patients where they are rather than expecting to completely change their meals on a day-to-day basis or their body image. So this is another thing that I believe is more important because different cultures are going to have different perspectives on body size, health, and beauty standards. And if dietitians are not culturally aware to those changes, they might unintentionally promote unrealistic standards or misinterpret the patient's goals or values. So we need a diverse dietitian that's going to be respectful, individualized, and culturally appropriate. Representation directly impacts health outcomes. So when patients are feeling seen, heard, and understood, it's going to build more trust, comfortability, and like I mentioned, these better health outcomes. So how can we really make a difference? And let's give some advice for the future dietitians. So making a difference could be advocating for paid internships, speaking up for yourselves and speaking to the academy, integrating cultural competence into the nutrition education system. I know I had a few classes on cultural competence and culture and nutrition. However, we need to make sure these continue. These can be in master's programs. These can be involved and integrated into the internships. And we want to be more mindful as dietitians about the recommendations we give, and we want to make sure that we're meeting the patient where they are at and making sure that it aligns with their culture. So other advice for future dietitians, making sure that we know that our perspective is valuable. The lived experiences that we hold can really play a role in the connection and the patient care that you are giving. And we also need to know that this field needs each individual's voice. So this kind of goes in the point before. So your experience, your culture, how you are diverse is very important because this is going to allow you to connect with different and more diverse individuals as we serve for increasing the nutrition status of individuals. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you appreciated everything, and just know this is a very important topic and we need to continue bringing it up, discussing it, talking to the academy, and also talking to our peers and those that are Black dietitians and see how they are feeling, how they are doing, if they are still running into consistent diversity related inequalities. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to share it, and thank you so much.